Hi guys, I'm Hannah, and if you want to know how and why I got from this to this and then to this, stay with me and learn my secrets and my mistakes on the way. My idea for this drawing actually was to use the gray of the paper as a mid-tone value and only to draw with black and white for the rest. So I ordered the gray Pastelmat paper and was pretty disillusioned when it came. The gray, unfortunately, is not a cool gray. It's more warm, muddy. To be honest, I didn't like the color at all. But I thought, okay, give it a try, see what comes out. So I started with a value map to establish the lights and darks in the drawing. At first I started to use the pencils, but honestly they were not smooth enough and I would have to put too much pigment on it to make it smooth. So I switched to the PanPastels, and also it goes a bit quicker with the PanPastels. As I already mentioned, I didn't like this gray paper. It's not a beautiful color, but I decided to just go on and work, see how it looks, because I can put in the background later on in the drawing. It's not that big of a deal. I grabbed actually all of my blending tools to try out what I like the most on the paper. I then stuck with this long sponge tool from Soft Tools, my paper stumps and my finger. Seriously, the best blending tool for pastels on a Pastelmat paper is your finger. It's the only tool that at some point don't pushes the pigment around, but pushes the pigment into the paper. Really into it. No other tool can do that. In my working process, I like to evaluate the contrasts and values slowly and on the whole drawing at once. That makes it easier for me to judge the values and see if it's correct. When I blend out the different areas, I never mix the different shades completely. I just smooth them out and build new pigments on top. That's the way you build up details without having to draw real details, and it gives depth to the painting. To draw something like feathers can be absolutely overwhelming, but it's easier as it seems. Take a deep breath, focus only on a small section of the photograph, and try only to see shapes, not feathers. Train your brain to just see abstract shapes. It only creates the illusion of details. I don't aim for hyperrealism. You usually don't look at a painting from closer than about 2 meters away. And if it then passes for super realistic, I reached my goal. For me, it's okay if you can see that's a drawing or a painting and not a photograph, as long as you can't see it from a distance. I think it gives more of an wow effect. And it's also more my style. Something you can't see in the video is that I constantly check my reference photo to see if I'm on the right path. Don't try to work from what you think you remember how something looks. Your brain is lying to you. Make it a second nature that you check your reference photo constantly, otherwise you will miss very important things. Your brain, your memory isn't that good. It can't be. There are very few people on this planet who could do this. And to be fair, most of us don't have a photographic memory. But for the reason why I changed the reference photos so much. I love the original, it's just beautiful, but I wanted to create something in black and white with really, really strong contrasts. And that's why I eliminated the color and I really hyped up the contrast a lot, so that it looks the way it looks now. When it comes to the process of drawing or painting, it's very important to learn to ignore the ugly stages of a piece of work. It can take pretty long till everything comes together. Every piece of art looks at one point as if you had drawn it with your feet. Be stubborn, stay with it, work through it. It will work out in the end, I promise. Just don't give up. And also, if you work too long on a piece, the elements more or less are falling apart in your eyes. Everything looks somehow disjointed. That is the time for a break. And after this break, you will see your drawing with totally different eyes, because you stop seeing only details, you will see the whole picture, so to say. With this drawing, I had this moment with the background. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way the water looked. But after the break, everything came together. I worked on the areas that weren't finished yet, and everything was fine. And when it comes to drawing water, don't go for every single wave or reflection. Focus on capturing the mood and the light and dark areas where they are. And no, I don't mean the reflections. The focus is on the swans in this case, and the light comes from behind them. So the water behind them is lighter in value and also only has a hint of details and contrast. Next to the birds, everything is strongest, and in the area in front of them it's the darkest, because that's the shadow areas of the swan. I think the biggest thing on learning to draw or paint is learning to see, really see. Thank you for coming with me on this journey. And I hope you liked it, and I see you in 2 weeks. And now don't forget to do all the YouTube things and help me grow. Thank you very much. Bye.